Yeah. So, have you heard about the new medical research that is out that is proving that a daily practice of gratitude can have long lasting and quantifiable effects on our bodies, on our minds? Yeah. It says that it eliminates stress, it deepens and slows our breathing, which we know is healthy for us, and it also relaxes tension in our minds and in our bodies. Now, they say that the practice of gratitude shifts our perspective. It shifts our perspective in a positive way and moves us from things like, blame, judgment, lack, shifts us into the more positive, broader aspects of inclusiveness, forgiveness, joy. How's that sound? Better, right? A little better place to live. The good news is that gratitude is something that anybody can practice and get better at. That's the cool thing. You can get better at it, and so that it becomes an automatic response for us, a way of being, a way of living. Now, more good news for you is that we're talking about it all month. Yay! Our series this month is Living in Thanksgiving. And my talk today is the sweetness of life. Now, you may have heard that just a few minutes ago. It's from our reading in our journal this morning. So November, of course, is the traditional time that we pause and reflect on the many blessings in our lives and the things that we're grateful for. This is a warm-up for your Thanksgiving Day dinner where everybody sits at the table and talks about that, right? So you're all going to get warmed up for that and be ready. But we remember that what we're grateful for that we have, are acknowledging what's in our life, the big and the small, the material, the spiritual. As the song said, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What are we grateful for? So today I really want to explore with us this practice of gratitude and if it really is transformative. So what is gratitude? What is gratitude? What does it mean? Well, it's an emotion that generates feelings of appreciation, deep appreciation within us. And for me, it's a calmness that I experience. There's a peacefulness that's kind of wrapped all up in a bundle of joy. It's just a wonderful feeling and a wonderful emotion. So think about it for you. What is gratitude for you? What does being grateful mean to you? Just in that brief pause, I began to see some smiles on your faces as you thought about the feeling of gratitude and being in gratitude. And that's the power of it. It's transformative for our state of being when we move into a grateful place. It transforms us. And we're discovering that it also has a residual effect. The practice of gratitude has a residual effect, much like the practice of meditation. Once we develop a meditation practice on a routine basis, we find that it's residual throughout the day. We feel better throughout the day, throughout our week, a little more balanced and calm. And the same is being proven of a gratitude practice, that it's this residual effect that stays with us. It becomes a state of being. You could say that it moves us into alignment with the givingness of God. Now, Ernest Holmes is the founder of Centers for Spiritual Living. He's the author of The Science of Mind, which is a text that we teach from. And in it, he reminds us that the attitudes of praise and thanksgiving are salutary. Now, that's a 1938 word that we don't use much anymore, but it means it's beneficial to us. Thanksgiving and praise are beneficial to us. They not only lighten our consciousness, lifting us out of sadness and depression, they elevate our consciousness to a point of acceptance. Praise and thanksgiving are affirmations of the divine presence, the divine abundance, and the divine givingness. So Ernest was a pretty smart cookie, if you haven't figured that out already. He was talking about this in 1938, what science is proving today, that a gratitude practice is in fact good for us. It's good for us physically, emotionally, and spiritually. It moves us into that I am place within us, aligning us with the spiritual power of God within. It's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Now, of course, being grateful and thankful for the good things in our lives, that's pretty easy. It just takes a little focus, a little discipline to really remember to do it, right? To remember to be grateful. But it gains even more power when we record it. When we record it. Keeping a daily record of the good things in your life is the way that we begin to train, reprogram, if you will, that subconscious, that part of us that controls 95% of our life. Remember that part? And moving that into embodiment of a gratefulness, a gratitude practice. So writing things down and making it more of a disciplined practice. And you can do that through things like a gratitude journal. You can have a gratitude jar or a box where you put your gratitudes in that, write them down. And what that does is it does reprogram the subconscious to look for more things to be grateful for and to remember to be grateful for the good that comes to us. But where things get a little dicey, so things we like to call challenges in our life, right? Grateful for things like debt, financial or health struggles and challenges, relationship struggles, loneliness, dark night of the soul. I'm so grateful I'm having a dark night of the soul. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. Not really, right? When we're in the midst of those things, that's not usually our first go-to reaction. So that's where gratitude can become a little more difficult to find. It's in the challenges. It's in the challenges. The key to building a grateful attitude is the practice on the easy ones. To practice on the easy ones, to practice on the good things, to develop your focus and your discipline and your practice on the good. It's easy to be grateful for the good. I'm so happy and grateful now that I have a new car, I have a new home, I've got a job, my health is awesome, my relationship is amazing, I've got abundant friends, I'm so happy and grateful. We build the practice on the good things, on the easy things. I want to try something. Are you game? You willing to play this morning? All right. Are you grateful for your brain? Pretty important part of this human anatomy that we have. Okay, we're grateful for the brain. Do you believe that what you focus on expands? All right, good, good. I want you to put your hands on your lap, flat down on your thighs. I want you to move only your pinky finger. Take your choice. Both of them. I don't care. It's your game. What was everybody able to do that? Move your pinky finger. Your brain did that. Isn't that amazing? Now you're probably thinking, remember, Jill, you've lost it. Of course my brain did it. I did it. My muscles did it, right? It's how my body works. I told it to move and it moved. Well, a long time ago, you could not have done that. You could not have done that. Think of a newborn. Just move your pinky finger. Newborn can't do that, can they? Their brain has not developed to where they can receive and process commands like that. They cannot do that. So this is a high function to be able to move your pinky finger, right? Congratulations, you all passed. So we're going to move into a little bit of brain science. We are the science of mind after all. So we got a little brain science this morning to see how this all works. Now, trust me, keep up. It's going to go somewhere here. Our brains have neurons, right? You've heard of neurons. Our brains have neurons, which are the message pathways that fire when our body needs to move. So when I suggested that you move your pinky finger, you had neurons firing to tell it to do that through neural pathways. And as we do the same action repeatedly, that pathway gets reinforced like ruts in a road, right? It gets reinforced. That's how we develop some habits and things. And It's reinforced by what's called myelin. Anybody heard of myelin? Okay, good. I had not, so you're ahead of me. Good. Myelin is like insulation on electric wires. If you think about an electric wire, it's got all the copper and stuff twisted inside, and then it's got that plastic shielding or insulation on the outside. That's the way myelin works. It's the plastic, it's not plastic, but it's like the plastic that insulates the wiring, and it insulates these neural pathways for us. And it makes the action more automatic, easier, and faster. Now, this is how we learn and get better at repetitive things. Think about learning a sport. First time you pick up a golf club, you may not do so well. You might do perfect, but you may not do so well. But over time, you begin to learn, right? You begin to learn that, oh, well, I held the club this way last time. It didn't work so well, so I need to hold it that way. Or my feet were here and they maybe need to be over there. Or I swung too fast and maybe I need to slow it down. Our brain's firing all these things, right? The same is true in our career. When I started reading contracts 30 years ago, it was pretty slow and tedious. Not so much today. I've been doing it for a while and I've built those neural pathways of understanding the organization of a contract, the information that's in there, the words and what they mean. So I'm better at it. I'm better at it. Music, any other skill that you want to learn and improve, that's how it works, is those neural pathways. And the more we learn, the more that myelin grows. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. So our brains build that up, creating those stronger highway of muscles for us, okay? Stronger highway to our muscles. There's, anybody ever heard the term muscle memory? Oh, yeah. We're taught that in golf in particular. You develop the muscle memory. Well, there's no such thing. Our muscles don't have memories, do they? They just get bigger from exercise. What's happening is you're expanding that neural pathway. You're expanding your brain. You're expanding the myelin. That's what's happening. Telling the muscles what to do. Telling the muscles what to do. Now, the interesting thing about this, and where I'm going with all that lovely science lesson you had this morning, is that the neurons in the myelin is the same thing, the way that it operates is true of thoughts. It's true of thoughts, right? And, let's say you're a worrier. Anybody know anybody that's a chronic worrier? Yeah, they've got those neural pathways. They always go to worry. They always go to fear. They always go to worry. They always go to fear. It's like a rut in the road again. And we got to get out of that rut and up onto the higher ground in order to move into the positive and begin to change the neural pathway and how we're thinking. The good news is it's the same way with gratitude and prosperity. So when we have those neural pathways of gratitude and we build them and we allow them to grow and get larger, and then it can become that go-to reaction, that automatic reaction that we have, not the fear and the worry any longer. So this is why we build that pathway. This is why we build the pathway when it's easy. When it's easy. Does that make sense? It's like starting with the lighter weights in the gym to begin to build the muscle slowly. If you start with a 200-pound lift and you've never lifted before, it might be a little challenging. You might hurt yourself. But in this case, we're talking about gratitude, and we start with the good stuff, and we begin to build that neural pathway. And then when the challenging things happen, we can find it at least, right? Because it's big enough there that we can find that we're familiar with it. So research is showing us that gratitude improves our emotional, physical, and mental health, as well as our relationships, sleep, and more. So this is really a public health announcement today. I just want you to know that, okay? So you know. All right. But seriously, here are some of the things that are positive side effects of gratitude practice. Noticing what we already have can make us feel more positive about our lives. Look for the good and praise it. That's one of our little things we say around here. Look for something good so that you can praise it. And that, again, helps us to build that neural pathway. And that's the idea of appreciation. Gratitude does more for us than having extra money or more materialistic things. Now, sometimes our gratitude, we're grateful for materialistic things, aren't we? I am. I'm grateful for my new car, newish car now. Yeah, we're grateful for those things. But it's said that gratitude does more for us than just that event. Have you ever heard of something called hedonic adaptation? All right. Adaptation, science tells us, is the idea basically of when the new wears off. When the new wears off, good or bad, when we have a new experience that comes into our life, it has all of our attention. Oh my gosh, the new car, I'm going to wash it every week and clean it out every week and wash the windows every night and make sure it's tucked away and don't park close in the parking lot, park away, right? 6 months, 8 months down the road, where's that front door park? I can get in that little parking space right there. Oh, I haven't been in the car wash in 3 weeks. Oh my gosh, right? The new wears off, and it is the hedonic adaptation. And it happens with good things or bad things. Something bad comes into our life and changes it, and we're all about it in that moment, but then we get used to it, don't we? We get used to it. And that's the idea of that. A gratitude practice, what they say about that adaptation part is that it takes us back to our comfort zone. Our baseline is what happens. After the new wears off, we go right back to our comfort zone. Remember the story of lottery winners that go back to their regular economic stance? Yeah, they go back to the comfort zone. Gratitude practice makes that baseline or that comfort zone better so that we can experience more good. And we talk about that from the idea of building and raising our consciousness prior to calling in what we're wanting to change in our lives. We have to be ready to receive it. We're living at this consciousness level, but we want to be here. We've got to prepare our consciousness to receive that. Otherwise, we'll adapt and go right back. So that's the hedonic adaptation. Gratitude makes us more lovable. Now, I know everybody in this room is incredibly lovable. I know that because I know you all and I love you all. And yet, gratitude can make us even more so. Can you imagine being more lovable than you are right now? I don't know if I could handle it. But if we become more lovable, it's probably because we're not complaining and judging others. It makes us nicer, more trusting, more social, just general all around better people. So we have more friends and our existing relationships get even deeper. Gratitude can make us physically healthier, create more positive emotions, and improve self-esteem and overall psychological well-being. Are you sold yet? Close? I have one more. I have two more. One more. And when we're grateful for what we have, we're less likely to look outside of ourselves for fulfillment. Because when we look outside of ourselves for fulfillment, whatever that is that we're saying is fulfilling us can disappoint us, can't it? Yeah. So gratitude is that inner awareness of gratefulness and that inner awareness of who we are. Is gratitude a good thing? Yes? Yes. All right. So we're talking about finding gratitude in challenging situations, right? We're talking about that. Can you see how building your gratitude muscle, if you will, is easier when we do it with the good stuff? So that when the challenging things do happen in our lives, those gifts that come to us for expansion, because that's what they are, right? Remember the song? Thank you for the pain that expanded me through my fears. Practicing on the good things allows us then to be able to find it when we have the challenging things. Think about a challenge that you may have had way long time ago. I'm sure nobody's got any challenges today. But if you think about a challenge that you've come through and you look back on it, can you usually find some gratitude in there? Can you usually find where you grew, the gift, where you expanded, the stepping stone that it was to where you are now? Yeah, we can always look back and usually begin to find those gifts But what if you could find them in the midst of it? What if you could find it in the midst of the challenge? Would the challenge be less challenging? It'd be a little less challenging. Be a little easier to move through. Yeah. Like all spiritual practices, gratitude is a practice. It takes practicing it in order to build up that neural pathway for us to become our go-to, to become a state of being, a place that we reside in always, that it's our go-to reaction. Whenever anything happens, I'm so grateful. Wow, I appreciate that so much. Wow. Starting within, and then imagine taking that appreciation out into the world and appreciating others. Grows and expands. So whether it's through prayer, meditation, or in practice, our myelin and our minds are expanding and we'll experience more positivity. But the really good news is that challenges don't feel so challenging. So let's take a look at our practicing the principles. See how we might be able to live in Thanksgiving through the practice of gratitude this week. Now, we have a thing we call Mindful Monday. It's a newsletter that I send out on Monday mornings. That's a summary of today's talk, the practices I'm going to go through now, and some of the quotes and things that you can use to apply in your life throughout the week. We like to say the science of mind is a teaching that we can apply in our lives for better living every day. And this Mindful Monday is a way that you can then take some of this home with you and practice it in the week. If you want to sign up, you can do so in the lobby, or you can send me an email and we'll get you set up. All right, I've got 3 for us today, and the first one is grab your journal. Grab your journal. And I invite you to commit to a daily gratitude practice for the next 40 days. 40 days is that magic number of transforming habits. And doing it every day for 40 days, guess what the 40th day is? No, it's our candlelight service. Good guess, though. Good guess. It's our candlelight service here on December the 16th, Thursday night. Hope everybody can be here for us as we celebrate the light. But that'll be the 40th day of your gratitude practice, so it should be embodied by then, which will be really fun to watch. So how do you do it? Well, you do have to stop. Okay, gratitude practice is not a multitasking thing. We've got to stop and pay attention and focus on what it is. We reflect on our day. We reflect on, what am I grateful for? What am I really grateful for? And refill those feelings, and write them down. Write about it. And I invite you to write 5, ideally 10 things that you're grateful for every day, and try to really, really feel into those feelings. And it's easy to overlook small things. That front door parking spot that just appeared for you, or the short line at the grocery store. Yay, those are always good. Or any of the other little things that happen in our life, along with the big things. Again, we're building this appreciation of the good so that we can build that neural pathway. And to help you get started, I have a gift. I love giving things away. We have a Thanksgiving journal for you. And these are free. And it has 10 things. And as I say, I invite you to find 10. And you can do 5 if you need to. That's okay. Training wheels. It's got a little affirmation on it. And then it's got all of the 40 days on it. So these are available to you in the bookstore. They are free. Please take one. Start your practice. Well, join us in community. Let's all do gratitude for the next 40 days and see what happens. All right, number 2 is count your blessings, not your burdens. Anybody count burdens? We do this sometimes. But in conjunction with this writing out your gratitudes, drop your burdens as well. Stop counting those. And there are several studies of folks who were suffering from a condition called hypertension. And they counted their blessings at least once a week. and there were measurable differences in their blood pressures decreasing. Measurable. Once a week. You're going to do it every day. Imagine how calm you're going to be. And another 2-week gratitude intervention, they also experienced reduced blood pressure and increased sleep quality. Anybody can use some better sleep? Yeah. So there you go, gratitude practice. This week, I invite you to practice letting go of your burdens, your worries, and your anxiety, along with focusing on what you're grateful for. Diane mentioned our book study, What If It All Goes Right? It is a wonderful book. It really is. And that question is so simple, but when you start thinking about a burden, and if you can ask that question and not go to the dark side, go to the light, go to the upside, what if it all goes right? What if it all goes right? And it just transforms the feeling within us. So asking ourselves those questions will help us to transform burdens into benefits. Ooh, burdens to benefits. I like that. All right. Number 3 is tell someone. Tell someone. This is a simple practice, but it is really powerful. This week, every day, every day, every day, commit to tell someone how thankful you are to have them in your life. Imagine doing that. Every day, tell someone how thankful you are that they are in your life. And watch what happens to you, to them, and to your relationship. Let's go build some neural pathways of gratitude and experience the sweetness of life this week. What do you think? Yeah. I want to close this out with a quote today from David Steinem Rast, who said, "It is not happiness that makes us grateful. It is gratefulness that makes us happy." And so it is. Yes. Would you join me in prayer? How grateful I am. Just start at the gratitude part, for I am grateful for all that is in my life and the life of this community. Grateful to know that God is the source of all. No matter what it might look like, there are multiple channels through which good comes. It is all the sourced of the divine. And we recognize that this source is good. It is whole, perfect, and complete. It is love itself in form and expression. And all of it is here now, in through now, as each of us gathered in this room, online, or listening later, as we recognize our own unity in that wholeness, as we are uniquely manifested of it and in it and as it, and it moves through us, and we have our being in it. We are one. And knowing that, I speak my word for each of us today. Knowing the gratitude in our hearts, knowing the abundance of blessings that we each have in our lives, that which we can easily practice gratitude for the good, knowing that all that comes to us is a blessing, whether it is clothed in something that looks like pain or sorrow or struggle, we know that it is a blessing, that it is here for us, for our good, that this universe is for us, God is for us, and it's always in the givingness of the divine through its creation that its creation grows, expands, and evolves. How grateful I am for this knowing also that anyone that does have anything on their heart, that they would seek prayer around this day as they lift it into this prayerfulness, this prayerful moment. We as community hold all of these beloveds in our consciousness of good, of love, surrounding each and every prayer with our love, with our knowingness of the good of spirit, moving through that life right here, right now, in powerful and transformative ways. And how grateful I am for this knowing, for the manifestation of this prayer, for this community and all who attend it. We are so blessed. And I release this into the action of law, knowing that it is done, it is so, and we affirm together. And so it is.